Welcome everyone to day 6. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me, you can see me well. I am super excited to be here. Today's day 6. Today starts the bonus of our 2 days, and I'm so excited for it. So looking forward to actually these last 2 days. Oh, that is me on the loop checking. I'm all, can you see me? Can you hear me? Perfect. Hi, Ren. So good to see you guys. Okay, without any further delay, so I don't know how cliche it sounds, but we are going to dive deep in because it is so important for me to make the most of these 2 days. But I just want to say, I have absolutely enjoyed the whole week with you all because through the last week we have looked at it's more like a roadmap, and I want you to see it like a roadmap. What has been the roadmap for you? We had looked at we've looked at goals, how to set the right type of goals. How do we set, what is the knowing doing gap then? Why is it that we get stuck in life? What is it that it's nothing wrong with us, but yes, definitely it is the programming that is stopping us from moving forward. And many of you have been able to see the patterns, you've been able to identify the patterns, which I'm really proud of you. So, but I just wanted to start with this today, going back to fear, because that is one thing that has really come up. And I thought I'm going to talk a little bit about fear. So then, it's, yes, when we talk about fear, it's, why is it controlling life? Why is it that you are scared? And I'm just going to pick up my stick person because that's very important. Oh my gosh, where it's gone. It's very important for you to see what is happening in your life. Why is it that fear is quietly controlling your life? Whether it's fear of judgment, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? What if I try and nothing changes? And all of that is coming from a place of fear. And because of that fear, people stay in jobs that they've outgrown. I've been having conversations with you on calls. So well done if you've booked a call. I know if nothing else, you have gained clarity. And we've got people who are joining in. Well done to you for literally going after what you want in life. And I really, you know, I know it's not easy when you make that decision, but I also know that's the right, it's the right decision because you're making it from where you want to be in life. So, like I said, people are staying in jobs, and that's something which I have seen. People are doing things which they're stuck. They're staying in relationships that drain them. They're staying invisible, although they know that visibility is going to help them. They're staying financially stuck, staying emotionally exhausted, staying disconnected from who they really are. And not because they can't change, but because fear has become so familiar in their life, and they always go back into bondage. Now, here's what most people never learn. The moment you set a real goal in life, not a comfortable goal, not a socially acceptable goal, but a real goal, the kind that stretches you, which we have been looking into, the type C goal, which expands you, which demands growth from you, you hit something called a terror barrier, which is the fear, right? Anytime you start to go outside, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually scared. Like, and all of these, your paradigm will start kicking in because it's not used to it, it's not familiar. So it all starts kicking in and it all starts taking you back in your comfort zone. And that is the invisible wall between your current identity and the identity of your desired result. People call it future identity. I don't like calling it future because really, if you understand time and space, there is no future. Everything is happening right now. In your subconscious, there is no language of future, there's no language of past. Everything is about right now. So when you are talking to your subconscious, the language you have to speak is in present tense. And that is the way I always tell you, write the goals in a right manner. It's so important to write the goals in the right way. And every single person hits it. There is not a single person who doesn't hit terror barrier. So when you want to start the new business, you want to raise your prices, you want to go online, you want to speak your truth, trust again, build wealth, whatever that is, that the terror barrier is going to, appear from somewhere. And in that moment, you always have two choices. You can either return back to safety or walk forward into growth. And that wall is an invisible wall, but that wall declares or decides what's going to happen in your life. Because if you go back into safety, what's going to happen? I also want to explain why do people go back actually. It's so important. We are talking about, yes, you've got two choices, but why is it that people actually retreat into safety? Why do they go back into the comfort zone? See, most people think fear means maybe this isn't for me. No, fear we discussed the other day, it means that yes, it's growth. You're standing at the edge of transformation. Like when children are growing up, doctors say, oh, they've got growing pains in legs when the leg hurts. It's something very similar to that, right? It is something very, very similar to that. It is like you're growing pains, you're growing in life. That's what it is telling you. You're going towards growth. And fear appears when the old version of you realizes it is losing control. Why? Because it is so familiar. Even when you're stuck, and I have had, like, explained so many conversations. People have been stuck for 30 years, 40 years. I was stuck for 40 years, 20 years, for three decades, people are stuck in that. Why? Because the old version realizes, oh my gosh, it's going to lose control. Because people do not understand fear. And I think that is my whole point. Understand what fear is doing for you. When it is showing up, understand, is it showing up because it wants to take me back to safety? And is that safety net serving me in life? If it's not, I need to be out of this. I can't keep going back, because if I keep going back, I keep repeating the same pattern. You keep going back into what is familiar, even when it is painful. And let me know in the chat, isn't it painful for you to see for what you're going through every day? Because the human mind will often choose familiar, because that's how it's made. Even over unfamiliar freedom, you will go for the familiar discomfort over with unfamiliar freedom. And that is why you need to change. And you know where most people live? So these are the 4 stages of transformation you need to understand in life. Bondage. This is where most people live. Same money problems, same procrastination, same self-doubt, same emotional cycle. It's repeating on loop every year, and they don't understand why. And I've been explaining to you since day 2, it's your conditioning that is running the show. Invisible programming, old paradigms, inherited beliefs, and the subconscious mind's repeating the yesterday again and again, and keeps making it your present, keeps making it your future. So that's the first stage. Then comes awareness. So then something happens. You hear a message, you read a book, you attend a webinar, seminar like this, you join a challenge, you set a real goal, and suddenly you can start seeing, oh, wow, this life looks really good. I can actually be someone. I can have something more in my life. You start seeing that silver lining, as we all say, of the cloud. You start seeing that silver lining. Oh, you can feel the possibility. Amazing. I love that. But your outer world still hasn't changed. Why? Many of you, and I hats off to you for taking this time out, coming here, doing things. I admire that. I so admire that. And I love that about you, because awareness is the beginning of change, but not the transformation. You need to understand. When you become aware in life, I don't know who I was speaking to. And I'm not sure, 380 podcast did they hear? I think it's 380. I'm not sure who. But yeah, but that's what I'm trying to explain. You attend so many things, but it's the same, like, it's information, it's awareness. And yes, awareness is the starting point, but nothing shifts. Why? Because the seed has been planted, but the roots are not deep yet. Can you see that? You plant the seed, but the seed does not grow. It has not formed the roots. And until the roots are formed, the tree can't grow, the plant can't grow. Simple science. Don't we see that? And that is what happens. So that's the second stage. So first stage is your bondage. Second is your awareness. Third is your conflict. This is where people panic. And this is what happens in your life as well. Because now you have 2 versions of you. You have one who is like, oh, so when you start awareness, like, oh, I would love to have that. And then you have bondage, which is all here. And then there's a conflict that starts happening. One part, the conscious mind, because it's like, oh, I want to grow, I want to get better, I want to do what I want, I would love to have that life, I can see there's a possibility. But the subconscious, nope, wants safety. Why? Because, oh, it's unfamiliar. Oh, no, that's not the safety zone. Be familiar. This, your belief system, your self-image, your programming fees is safe for you, even though it's painful, but it is safe for you. So this creates internal chaos. Okay. So it starts with where? It's one conscious mind wants one thing, subconscious wants something. So people go into overthinking, they start doubting, they start, anxiety. So understand what's happening then. So when the conscious mind and there's a subconscious. So all of this conflict is happening between the two minds because there's so much chaos. So then people think, oh, something must be wrong with me. No, like I've been saying this, you're not broken. You are in transformation. Your old conditioning is fighting for survival. But many people will come here and they will go back into bondage. Why? Because the subconscious is powerful. Why do you think 97% people in the world are enjoying 3% wealth of the world? And 3% people have all the 97% wealth. Why? Why is it that in every industry, every country, any field you go, you will always have that ratio of 3% and 97%? Why? Because 97% people will go back into bondage. Why? Because that's comfortable. I remember when I had fibromyalgia for 8 years, right? 8, 9 years. And anytime I was doing everything, but nothing was happening because I was not changing. And then the fear creeped in. But where was the fear coming from? Fear was coming in from my overthinking. Fear was coming from because I was always panicking about the future. I did not understand that I was emotionally involved with the wrong ideas. So I had to go back and change my thinking. I had to go back and change every thought I thought, but those thoughts could not change until I changed the ideas here. So what did I have to do? I had to reprogram my subconscious with what I desired, not with my past, not where I am, but with my future. And that is not easy. And that is why it's only 3% people in the world who will understand this and who will go and do things. So either they are conscious or unconscious competent. That's the word for them. So either you consciously create. So I've been showing you the way every day to consciously create your life, or you can or you become an unconscious competent. But if you want to be part of the 97%, you're already there. If you want to be part of the 3%, let me know in the chat. Yes, I am ready for the 3%. Put 3% in the comments. I want to see who's ready. And then, if you continue despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite not having all the evidences yet, something incredible is going to happen. Your conditioning starts changing. Your identity changes. And yes, I will talk about identity tomorrow. Your standard starts changing. Your results change in life. And one day, the thing that once terrified you becomes your normal. That is freedom. But freedom lies on, so if this side is fear, this side is freedom. Which one are you going to choose? I love that, Jackie. Yes, 3%. Yes, Meghna, 3%. You all want to be part of the 3%. You do not want to be part of the 97%. You have been part of that. It has not served you. Success only comes from 3%. That's what I want for you all. And that's what you should want for yourself, which you are, which is amazing. So I want you all to type in the chat, yes, I am ready for the 3%. So now, when you break that barrier, you go into freedom. And that is what happens. And inside every person, we have two paths. Path of fear, path of faith. As I've been saying, take the faith, go into the 3%. That's where you want to be in life, right? So the faith is where the understanding is. Trust is, clarity, momentum, creation and expansion. Today, I'm going to talk about momentum. I'm going to talk about how do you put all of these pieces together. And tomorrow, I'm going to talk about self-image. So fear is when you are contracted in life. Faith expands it. Fear makes people shrink. Faith makes people become who are they meant to be. Now, most people think it's the outside circumstances. Most people are not trapped by circumstances. They're trapped by ignorance. And I love how Bob used to say this. There's only one problem in the world. You might think it's loads of them, but there's only one problem. And that is ignorance. Not understanding how the mind works, not understanding paradigms, not understanding self-image. not understanding why are they self-sabotaging themselves, not understanding why they repeat the same emotional patterns. Awareness changes everything because awareness gives you choice, and choice is where freedom begins. Choice is where freedom begins. So now people ask me this all the time, Gagan, I understand this now, but how do I actually change? And that's a beautiful, beautiful question, because understanding the problem creates awareness, but solving the problem creates transformation. And that is why I teach thinking into results. And today I'm going to talk about why thinking into results is so uh, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk about that later. I've got someone with me and I'm going to ask them, and she's part, and probably you've seen her. She's one of my success advisors. She's part of my team. I absolutely admire her, love her passion for what she does. And I want to invite her here. And so yeah, Gurinder, I want to welcome you. I want you to unmute yourself and come here. Hi. So guys,
Hi, Gagan.
if you have been seeing her or maybe got received messages from her. She is one of my success advisors. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring people who are behind the team so you can become familiar with them as well. So, first of all, Gurinder, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Gagan.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I think it would be really helpful for people to hear your story. So, tell a little bit about yourself, very briefly.
Yes, my name is Gurinder and I'm from India, and I'm basically having the corporate HR background, and I'm in this corporate industry from last 17 years, and I have always been very curious learning person, and from outside my life is perfect. I have a loving husband, I have two beautiful daughters, and everything seems perfect, but inside something was there, like a divine disconnect I feel every day. I was functioning, but and I was achieving everything, but I was not fully alive. I knew I was tight in a bud and I was desperately wanted to blossom. So this is all about my background. Thank you, Gagan.
So, tell me a little bit, Gurinder, where were you in life when you attended one of these master classes with me? What
Yes.
happened? What was your
Uh,
first take on it?
So Gagan, I met you during one of these call. I met you, and I take 1 year to join you, and I thought I can do it myself. And I take the time, I do the courses and everything, but there was knowing doing gap is there, and I was stuck in that. I have read the books, I have watched the videos, I attended the seminars, I know the theory, I know how law of attraction work, but the major change was that I have the awareness that, like you said earlier, that awareness is the key, but the basic thing is the doing, that execution that needs to be taken care of, and that those paradigms which I was having earlier, so I was not aware about that, and I go back to bondage again and again. So I thought that because one of the major limiting belief which I was having is that I'm not enough. So I used to do course by course, completing I completed one course and then I again enrolled to another course, that I thought that if I gain one more certificate, it will make me perfect and then I will take the action. But it is other way around. We have the awareness and then we have to take a baby steps, so that is the way into transformation. And I has that fear and I have that paradigm was there, that money comes with hard work, because I have seen my father earning money through working hard. So I always thought that by working hard I will get the money, but it was other way around. And because I was not vibrating at that level where I need to be. So what is the major change is that earlier I know the law of manifestation, that uh, how people get the attraction, but I was not aware about law of vibration, that I need to think, feel and act from the person who I want to become. So when I enroll in your course, I used to dress up like a lady, which I want to be. I act and walk like that lady, and I think from that perspective, and this thinking changed me. And um, for me, I just upgrade my standards, and then I used to think of that how I will, if because I manifested a house, you know it, and then I thought that I have upgraded my standards now. Now universe want me to earn that income. So
Your
basically,
house happened, your income went up,
yes, yes.
all of those things happened. I
And
remember. Yeah.
when I joined you after 1 year, you asked me the question that, Gurinder, if things have not changed in last 1 year, and you are joining, you have not
That was my
changed
question
that.
before. Yeah.
Yes, before you asked me that question, and you said me that if things will not change after 1 year again, then how you will feel. And I thought that uh, it will like a stuck kind of feeling, and I don't want that. And I don't want that at the end of the life I regret taking decisions and actions. So that is why I joined you. And I still remember I don't have money, and I still don't believe how that money comes, and you know the whole story. And
So what would
so
you say, Kurinder? At that point you did not have the money, but the money
yes,
appeared, right? The money
yes,
literally was like, okay, I've made the decision. I do not want to be stuck here
yes,
anymore. It's been a year. I've been following Gagan. Nothing has shifted. I've tried everything. Whatever I'm teaching, you've applied. But like, not applied. You're gaining more and more knowledge, but nothing is changing. And then you decided,
yes,
what? I'm going to actually go and do this. And then,
yes,
yes, your results, you probably did not have the money. The money appeared. You started, you paid the down payment. You started working and your life started shifting. And
yes.
today, where are you in today? Tell me more about how do you feel today? I think that's what I want to know. That for me, who have you become in this process? That's the most important
So
thing.
basically, uh, I become a person who become like her from my future version. And if I meet my future version, I will tell her that your doubt is not your truth, and you don't need to see the whole path. And if you take one step, the path will appear. So that is all about me. And the money, the circumstances, the timings, that all will follow. I don't believe it earlier, but now I believe it. And for all my manifestation which I achieved through you, maybe that house thing or anything, uh, that taking a house which is your 4x, means the 4x money which is required to achieve that house. I don't know how I will make the payment and all that, but the things will come, and then we book that
And it
house
started
now.
coming.
Yes, and that is coming.
And you know what? That's what I wanted to say. Bob says this in lesson one of thinking to results. When you set a goal, you do not know where the resources will come from. And he gives a really good example. And I want to talk about that example. And he gives the example of this Maharishi who thought, I'm going to take this meditation to all over the world. And someone
Yes,
asked him, oh, where's the money going to come from? If you want to take this meditation all over the world. And I think by that was Deepak Chopra. Someone asked Deepak Chopra
yes,
this, if you know Deepak Chopra, where are you going to get all this money from? And Deepak Chopra replied, I think it was Deepak Chopra, I'm not 100%, but I think he was. And someone said to him, and he's replied, wherever the money is today. Yesterday, I explained about the money. Money, if you understand really money, it's like water. It just circulates. It's the same amount which has always been, which means infinite. It will always be infinite like water, right? And it just keeps going up and down, like, in the circulation. That's what it is, like water. So money is exactly where it is. But when you make a decision, I think until people make decision, they are in that, oh, shall I not? So they can only see the paradigm is at play and they can only see the excuses, the circumstances. But once you make a decision in life, and I think that is with any area of your life, once you make a committed decision that I am going for this, then you're only focused to finding that solution, how I can achieve that. So the how comes later. How cannot come, and people get stuck, but how is it going to happen? How will only appear after the decision has been made. Would you agree with that, Gurinder, now?
yes. And one of the basic limited belief which I have about money is, which is blocking me, is that I thought that money only comes through me, and it comes through only hard work, and that was not the case. Sometimes money can come through another sources also. I was always thinking that in my corporate career, this will come through only my this salary part and all that, and that is blocking the money, and it comes from other sources. This time I got company shares and all that. So many things happen, I don't know how. And
You do not
so
need to know how. And we
yes,
always, I think, as people, because, and I understand, because we do not have trust. We want to control everything. We want
yes,
it our way. Why can't we trust God's way is better? Why can't we trust that, like you said, divine is at play? Let me do my part. Let me take care of mine. I always love giving this example of a farmer. When a farmer is planting that seed, right? The universe, of course, and the sunshine depends, everything, all of that is there. But when the farmer plants a seed, he nurtures the seed. He makes sure he uses the best fertilizer. He makes sure that he uses, waters it, the sunlight is given, all of that. And if any weed is growing nearby, it's just going to go and get rid of that weed, right? Any of that, it will make sure that it gets the best of nourishment. But the farmer does not take a shovel and go, oh my gosh, let me see how the roots are growing up now. Let me go and see how much has the root grown. No, that is the trust that farmer has in the Mother Earth, farmer has in the universe, that it's going to be a good harvest. But we as humans, and again, it's the same law. It's little, your manifestations are exactly the same. If you can manifest a free cup of coffee, darling, you can manifest millions. The process is same. It's a
yes.
belief and trust, and that needs to be there. Okay, I've got one last question, because I know I'm very mindful of people's time today. What would you say to anyone who is sitting on a fence and thinking, I don't know what are they thinking, but if there's anyone sitting on the fence, oh, does it work? Is it possible in my life? Is the possibility there? What would you say?
So basically, I would like to say that you don't need to seek permissions from others to dream. And it's your dream, and you can see it, and you don't need their permission, and you should go after it. And once that felt impossible can feel natural to you after you achieve it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, right? Don't wait for everything. Your path cannot be clear. I'll be honest, when I started working with Bob Proctor, this was my vision where I am. Now my vision is much, much greater, right? Because at that point, I couldn't see that. And it was not even there for me, because my mind was not even open to see at such a high level. Today, I can, right? I've come so far in my life, like Grinda. I remember you messaging me, oh my gosh, Gagan, when I achieved my, with Bob Proctor, when I became the top consultant, you're like, oh my gosh, I love this for you. I remember your message. You messaged me on Facebook Messenger, because she was not my client at that point, but she had been following me for a year. And she said, oh my gosh. And remember, and think, this is how I think this is such a good example. I live in UK, she lives in India, right? She doesn't know me from any angle. She must have come across my Facebook post or something. I do not know. And then she started attending my events or whatever. And then she messaged me when I became a top consultant. That was few years ago, I think 2 years ago. And it was like, oh my gosh, so happy for you. I've been following you for a year. And my simple thing was like, so can you, right? So can you have, because you messaged me, I would love to be in some job like this or something, and I want to really help people. And I was like, first you need to help yourself, Gurinder, right? And you can have it. And if you really look at it, where are you today? Helping people, doing the same, right? And this is the power. But she decided that I am done with being stuck in my life. So that's a decision I think everyone has to make for themselves. It's not someone can force you, push you. I'll be honest, I've been having calls since yesterday, and probably you can see it in my voice as well. And I've told people, I don't think you're ready for thinking in results program. With my love, I've told them, I don't think you're ready, or I don't think it's the right time for you, or do you want to do it by yourself? Yes, go try it by yourself, right? Because that's why I tell, book a call. At least you will gain clarity out of that. You will gain clarity. Where are my right paradigms? At least I'll be able to help you identify those patterns on these calls. So those calls are not just for me. Those calls are actually for you. So if you have not booked a call, I would say highly recommend do that, because I think we've only got maybe 1 or 2 calls for tomorrow. And if required, I might open another for Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure, because my Monday is all blocked as well. But do it for yourself. Grinda took that step. Actually, Grinda, I want to ask you one thing. I remember you telling me I've not told anyone, Gagan, because if I will tell my mother I'm doing this, or if I tell anyone in my family I'm doing this, they would not let me. Do you want to talk a
Yes.
little bit about that? Why was it that you decided I can't tell anyone that I'm doing this work right now on myself? Otherwise, tell me why.
Yes.
I never
Uh,
asked you
bec-
that actually.
yes, because I have doing many courses and I have invested in myself earlier when I was in HR, and in jobs, that there is a competition over collaboration. And whenever I ask my boss that how can I do it, so nobody help me, and so I search on Google and courses after courses. First, I enrolled many courses related to HR because I was not aware what my passion is. So after enrolling for many HR certification courses and all that, I enrolled in Jack Canfield course, which is during COVID time, and I was pregnant with my second kid. And then only doing one of the exercises, I came to know that that exercise was that write 20 things or 10 things which you love to do. And I see a pattern that listening to podcast or listening to personal development program helps me a lot. So then I go into from HR to
To
personal
personal
development.
development.
Yes, so I did Jack Canfield train the trainer program, and I got clarity from that. And then uh, when you contacted me, I thought that if I told my husband or my mother or my sister, they will say ki matlab how much money will you spend, and they will not going to believe in me. So that is why I was not I don't want to to tell anyone, and I just want to just give it a try. and
I think
and
we
things
always want
shifted.
support from our family. That's the thing. And it's not
Yes.
that you're seeking anything else. You just seek, that's what you were seeking, right? You were just
Yes.
seeking the support. But I can see the point that, oh my gosh, how many will you attend? You've done
Yes.
so many courses. Nothing is changing in your life. And I can see
Yes.
that. And would you say today, hand on heart, that you did made the right decision that day?
Yes.
And what will you tell? And maybe your last sentence that you want to say to anyone. I don't know, last few lines that you want to say to anyone who's watching you tonight.
So the basic thing which I want to tell you, that as your identity shifted, everything will start to make shift. Those energy, those action and results will naturally follow. So one of the major thing which work for me is self-image. I cut paste photos. I use Gemini and everything to make those photo of myself being a coach. And so basically that self image work I used to make the audio recordings of that self image and listening it again and again, so that worked for me. So basically you need to take action from that future self, and then things will shift.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yes.
absolutely love that. Uh, Really, really good, Grinda. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank
Thank
you,
you,
thank you.
thank you,
I
Gagan.
really appreciate your time. And can I just say one thing? I'm really proud of you for believing in yourself. I think that's the most important thing, for believing in yourself, to identifying I actually need to do something about it, but otherwise nothing is going to change in my life, and going forward with that decision. That's hats off to you, because yeah, it requires courage, especially if you're in India. I know, like, it takes a lot of courage, and to go after what you want. I absolutely, absolutely love that about you. Well done to you. Thank you so
And
much
this
for
is
joining.
one of my manifestation that you said to me that I am proud of you, because I attended the calls with you in Zoom calls and all that. You just where all business ladies are there. So you are usually telling them I'm proud of you. So I was always thinking that I need to
I
get that from
that
Gagan.
Oh, you are really, no, no. Look at the
Yes.
work you've done. Look
Thank
where
you.
you are, right? But it's only happened, and I know much, much more is on its way now that like you applied the material, you've started changing your life, you've changing your life, you've changed your life, it's still transforming, right? It's because there's no limit, and you're
Yes.
helping others. So I'm really, really proud of you, and it's amazing to see you part of helping all of these lovely people out there today. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gagan.
Great. So, guys, this is Gurinder, and I love it. Thank you so much, Grinda, for being here with us and actually sharing this with everyone. Okay, so if I am now, I'm going to go back to the point that I was making, that a lot of people ask me, this is amazing. How do I now start applying everything in my life? And I think that is very important. How do I actually change? And it's a beautiful question because understanding the problem creates awareness, but solving the problem creates transformation. And this is exactly why I teach thinking into results. It's not motivation. It's not about motivation. It's not about temporary hype. It's not positive thinking. Many people think it's all about positive thinking. No, it's real identity level transformation. How do you think, be that person that you desire to be? So when you join this community, you're not talking to the current identity of yours. We're taking every step, every decision, everything from that place. So this is how the program looks like, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what is thinking into results. Why do I keep talking about thinking into results? Like I explained to you on day one, if we build a goal, we build a real life C-type goal, because your goal reveals the person you must become. A goal is not about getting, it's about growing. And it's also like, then we look at the conditioning, and how I love looking at the conditioning is like your subconscious mind is like the wiring inside a house, right? If wealth is not wired in, you will struggle with money. If confidence is not wired in, you will hide. If worthiness is not wired in, you will sabotage success. And if you want, you need the right wiring if you want the right output of that, right? So if you look at your houses, if there is no wiring in the top part of the house, you won't have electricity there. So likewise, if you want something in your life and if it's not wired in, how are you going to have it in your life? Because that needs to be wired in. And that is where, like, if worthiness is not wired in, people sabotage their success, like fear of failure, fear of success. They will procrastinate because they're sabotaging. And how many of you have been telling me about sabotaging, right? That it's all been sabotaging. So then we begin to start changing the paradigms, the emotional reactions, the habits, the identity. So you stop repeating the same life unconsciously. Right now, you're repeating the same life on a loop, unconsciously doing the same thing again and again. And it's giving you the same of what you do not want. So this is where we start rewiring. Then I showed you the stick person. Because when you finally understand, not only understand, when you start applying it in your life, the way, why you think the way you think, why you feel the way you feel, why your body reacts the way it reacts, and everything will start changing for you. Why your conscious goals and subconscious programming have been in conflict. And when you start understanding this, everything in your life starts changing for good in life, right? For good. Because it is so important to understand how are we working on a day-to-day basis. Am I reacting? Am I responding? Let me know in the chat. Do you react? Do you respond to life? Which one are you? What is it that you are doing? So, as I said, when we look at the mind, we look at the wiring of the mind. And I want you to think it like in a house. If there are no wires upstairs, electricity won't flow there. So, all of this needs to be wired in. So, how do you change the wiring? That's the next question. How do you stop repeating the same patterns? That's what we work on. And for that, you really need to understand and apply the stick person. You cannot operate from your five senses. Your five senses have a purpose in life. Your five senses are meant for you to become aware which atmosphere you are, but not getting emotionally involved. But if I don't have my iPad on me right now, but if I could explain to you, you see your bank card, for example, your what do you call it, bank account, you see your bank statement, and you're like, what's the first thing that happens when you see your bank statement? Let me know in the chat. What is the first thought that comes to you when you see your bank statement? Or when you see something that you do not want, what's your first thought that comes? What comes? You will get a negative thought. That is what happens. When you get a negative thought, you start thinking about that thought, and that thought starts becoming like a cloud now, right? What will happen with the cloud? One thought, second thought, third thought, fourth thought. It's literally like becoming a cloud, like how a cloud becomes one drop of water, second drop of water, third drop of water, and it's become a cloud. When the cloud becomes very heavy, what does happens? It falls back. it falls literally back onto the ground. Likewise, what is happening? You are trying to change the results, but nothing is changing. My gosh, Chris, I need to tell you that I do not look. Oh my God. Now think about it, Chris. And Chris, I'm so proud of you for you have just joined the community, right? And you're going to start working with us. Monica's just joined. Amazing. And what's happening here is you need to see when you say I'm not going to see my report card, my bank statement, you don't even want to see, you do not even want to acknowledge the problem or acknowledge it even exists, right? What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening? If someone said to you, oh, Chris, I'm avoiding you, I do not want to see you, I do not want to be there, do you want to be in that person's life? No. Can you see your identity with money? Can you see your relationship with money? That is why you need to start operating from within. Otherwise, you will keep fighting your reality. You will keep fighting yourself. You must understand how your conscious, subconscious, and body work together, right? Yeah, very sad. You do not respond. OMG, it's not enough. All of those thoughts will generate a feeling inside you. Chris has a feeling of fear, right? Monica, what's your feeling of money? Sharon, you said it's not enough. Again, you feel it's not enough. Like yesterday, I forgot to mention this thing, and I will explain this to you. Like with money as well, there are four consciousness about money, right? So the first consciousness about money is if your money is telling you it's not enough, you believe you're not enough. Then it is I'm just enough. That means your money is just enough in life. Then if you money is saying, oh, there's more than enough, you believe you're more than enough. Then comes a stage of overflow. You are in overflow. You know what you bring to the table. That's a place you need to be in. So can you see how your money story is showing you exactly what you believe about yourself? Because your self-worth equals your net worth. Remember, your self-worth equals your net worth. So then how do we change this? Because you do not want to react to life. You want to start responding to life. And that's where we all have been given gifts by God. Remember that quote I used? Oh my gosh, what was the quote? God's gift to you is to develop as much talent and abilities in this lifetime. And our gift to God is to use as much to develop, right? God's given you everything. Our gift, our thanks to God is to develop as much of those talents and abilities. So then we use the gifts that we already have: imagination, intuition, memory, will, reason, perception. When we start, these are the tools that will rebuild your self-image. These are the tools when you will start using to respond to life, right? This is what needs to change. Your imagination. Right now, people say, oh, I can't imagine. Of course you can. You're imagining what you do not want in life. Are you in tune with yourself? Intuition. Are you really in tune with yourself? No. Memory. Are you stuck in your past memory, or are you going to create a future memory? Will is not willpower, but will to hold that image of what you want in life. And that requires, that requires persistence in life, right? That's why it's will to hold that image when your bank statement is saying there's no money and your will is like, nope, but I know that this is what I want in my life. That's not easy, right? Reason. You reason. I love reasoning. I reason every belief. The best way to change your belief system is to literally reason every belief that you have. Where is it coming from? Reassess your belief system as often as you can, because I reason every belief, and that's how I have really freed myself, because I don't believe in anything that's been sold to me anymore, as when I was young or when I was growing up. Nope, I make my beliefs. Nothing else. I make my beliefs. So these are very powerful tools that will help you rebuild your self-image. And self-image, I'll talk about tomorrow. So I'm not going to talk about today. Okay? Self-image is all about tomorrow. Then fear. We look at fear. And when you start changing, like I said, fear will show that. But then you do need someone to show you, no, it's just something fine. I'm here to hold your hand, the accountability, the support, and we take you through that fear. We face the fear together and we're like, nope, then I love this lesson. I think this is one of my, I think all of my lessons are favorite, but this is when things really shifted for me personally. For the first time was attitude. I understood what attitude means. Attitude doesn't mean, oh, you know what, check your attitude. No, it doesn't mean that. Or, improve your attitude. What does, no one ever explained to me what does attitude mean? Attitude means my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions need to be aligned with where I want to be in life. And that becomes my point of attraction. That is law of attraction, right? So when I understood that, how do I hold the right attitude while becoming that version of me? That is how permanent changes happen, not temporary. Remember when I started, I said it's not something temporary, it is something permanent. And that's what it is. So let me be honest. Some of you are feeling fear right now, even booking a call, right? You are facing that fear. Thoughts like, if they judge me, what if I do not know what to say? And what if I can't afford it? What if I fail again? What if my goal sounds silly? How do I know all of this? Because that was when I booked my first call with Bob Proctor. I was scared to ask for help because for me, if I'm being very honest with you, asking for support was like, oh my gosh, I failed. Even asking for support for me was like, I have failed in my life. Why? Because I was the one who was holding it all together, as a mother, as a wife, as everything. And everything was on me, literally. And for me, it was like, I can't ask for help. That's a sign of weakness. But no, that was the biggest thing I could do for myself. Why do I have to battle it myself alone? Why? When there is help. So I was scared to ask for help. I was scared to speak about my future. Oh, I want this. I was like, what will they think? Who does she think she is, right? Scared to admit even I wanted more in my life, right? I was scared. Like Gurinda shared her story, right? She was scared to tell anyone that she's going to go and do another program now because nothing has helped in the past. Nothing has helped her in the past. And that fear keeps us stuck in life. So you know what? You have a beautiful opportunity to face the fear, to stop obeying the old conditioning. And maybe this is your first sign. Just if you've not booked a call, book it. As I said, you don't have to. It's just 60 minutes of your time, maybe less than 60 minutes. But then you're doing something for yourself, not for anyone, but for yourself, that I want this for myself. So to build that faith, have that courage, get tea on that call, have a conversation. To become the person you are required to, you need to stop overthinking. So do not overthink it. Do not predict disaster. Do not let the old version of you vote on your future. I think that is very important. You want a future, but every time you give that voting slip to your old identity, do you think your old identity is going to let you step into the future? No. That's why I told you it's only 3% people everywhere. And I know Jackie, did you ask for another call? I know, of course, have it. Here to serve. I live by laws of the universe. Really, really live by the laws of universe. That is my life. I live by laws of the universe. And if I really tell you what is thinking into results, really, really tell you, thinking into results is, you are operating from the inside out. It's not result into thinking. You're thinking into results. So you think from that version of you and you create different results. That is what it is. And of course, there is a lot of support. There's accountability. There is so much love in our community, because we are stronger with the support of others. And if you really understand, your life is just a reflection of what is going on the inside of you. You just need to start changing the inside, and everything becomes an automatic thing. Everything starts changing on its own. Everything. That is life. But you can't, like I've said, I've explained you everything. I've literally given you, of course, I didn't have much time, but I've given you whatever I could, what I thought was really important. And yes, tomorrow I'm going to talk about identity, because that is very important as well. But I want you all to know one thing, that the life that you desire is really there. I've given you so much awareness, but if you do not take responsibility of changing your life, who else is going to take that responsibility? You have to. for yourself. We ask universe to do everything for us. We ask God to do everything for us. We are asking outside people to come and help us. But we do not want to help ourselves. How does that make sense? First, you need to be ready to be like, okay, I want to change my life. I want to do something for myself. Like I'll be honest, I waited for a Prince Charming to come and just save me. Doesn't happen. You have to. Even if you're married, you still have to do it for yourself. No one is going to come and do it. Hey, it's your birthday tomorrow, Jackie. I love it. Here you go. That is an amazing thing. So this is what I want you all to know. Your life is your responsibility, not anyone else's. I wanted to read something to you yesterday. Yes, this is something I want to read. Oopsie. Sorry. And I'm going to just read this to you. Okay. Where is it? Okay. There's a single mental move you can make that will solve enormous problems for you in a millisecond. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter. And it could propel you down to the path of incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. It is called decision. The world's most successful people share a common quality. They make decisions. Decision makers go to the top, and those who do not make decisions seem to go nowhere. Decisions or the lack of them are responsible for the breaking or making of careers in life. I'll repeat it. Decisions or lack of them are responsible for the breaking or making of careers. People who have become proficient at making decisions without being influenced by the opinions of others are the people whose annual income fall into the 6 and 7 figure category. People who have never developed the mental strength to make these vital moves are relegated to the lower income ranks for their whole life. More often than not, their lives become little more than a dull, boring existence. And there is also one quote of Bob Proctor. I think it's Bob Proctor. And he says, it is so sad that many people tiptoe through life, hoping that they will reach their end of life death in their safety. Hoping there's something like that. If someone can maybe Google that. There's a quote that he says, many people are tiptoeing through life, hoping they will make safely to death. That's what it says. And that was a hit on me when I heard it, because it was like, oh my gosh, like, what does that really mean? And isn't it so true? Aren't we all doing that? We're just tiptoeing safely so that we can die and leave this? No. I want to show this to you. Your past is gone. You can't get it back. It's like this. The past is gone. This is future. You do not know. If I cover it, you do not know how much is left. We do not know. No one of us knows whether we're going to wake up tomorrow morning or not. The only thing that we have in control is our present. Only thing. But the problem is, to make this present, are you even fully present to make your present? No. Why? Because your mind is always either here or either there. So do you want, like I said, the past is gone. You can never come back. We do not know how much is left. This is what we have. Make the best of this today. Make the best. Are you making the best? Are you making the decision that you are going to make the best of it? Or are you just drifting through life? So that is something that I want to talk to you about. And actually, of decision making, how important it is to make a decision, not from where you are, but from where you want to be. And I think this is one more thing I want to read to you. You are above all other forms of creation, right? We have animals, we have nature, we are above all forms of creation. Your greatest power is your ability to choose. When you take responsibility for your life, for how you feel, and for the results you're obtaining, you will cease to blame others as the cause of your results. How many of you blame circumstances? How many of you are blaming outside world? How many of you blaming your boss? How many of you blaming this and that? But actually, no. When you take responsibility, all of that stops. All of that ceases because you have to take responsibility of your results. The blame game is a dangerous game. When blame is eliminated, you're free to grow. So if any one of you are in that loop of blaming, leave that. You're not going to get anywhere in your life. Believing other people are responsible for your results confines you to a mental prison which restricts your movements, possessions, and accomplishments. I'm going to read this again, this line. Believing other people are responsible for your results confines you to a mental prison which restricts your movements, possessions, and accomplishments. You know why I'm reading this again? Because this is exactly where I was. For 4 decades of my life, I believed that people are responsible. Either my parents, my husband, this, that, they are responsible for the life I want. No, it's my responsibility to create the life I want, not anyone else's. You cannot escape from a prison if you do not know you are in one. Tattoo this somewhere. Literally tattoo this. You cannot escape from a prison if you do not know you are in one. And majority of us, we are in that prison. 97% people in the world, our population is stuck in that prison. And they are trying to do everything: meditation, journaling, scripting, healing, one course after the other course from the prison of their mind. Again, how do I know? Because I did it for 4 decades. I did it for 4 decades of my life. I was in this prison of I am not even wanted here. I was in this prison of I am minus my worthiness. Like literally, I had zero worthiness. Why? Because that's how. And on that day, I know we've got 4 minutes left. On that day, I was explaining my story. And many people would say to me, but your abuse was not your fault. And I get it. It was never my fault, never. But at the same point, now I can look back and see, why did I attract that? Why? Because when I was born, again, I told you all, I was the third daughter in the family. No one wants a third daughter in India. They all wanted a son because that's who is celebrated. And of course, although my parents loved me a lot, they really did love me. I was pampered like anything, really pampered. But a child doesn't know. When I was born, everyone was crying. I told you, my grandmother cried, my father cried. And actually, he wrote me a letter a few years ago, and I still have it. I framed it actually. And he wrote in that letter that when you were born, I cried. I really cried because I thought it was going to be a son. And it was pouring down with the rain. And all my life, my sisters, my cousins would say, oh my gosh, the day you were born, even heavens cried like anything. Or dad found you in a farm. So remember when I told you, the subconscious mind, there is no conscious mind. So everything that was going around me was going right here. So I believed about myself, I'm not wanted. I believed about myself, no one wants me. Like, I'm not wanted. Why am I not wanted? I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. So only, I'm barely existing here. And because that was my point of attraction, even as a baby, why do you think I attracted everything on that frequency? What will happen on that frequency if I'm not wanted? If I have zero, 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 even negative self-image about myself, that was my self-image. I'm good for nothing, right? If I'm good for nothing, no one wants me. Do you think I will attract the best opportunities in my life? No, I attracted the worst. Abuse again and again. And that became more like a belief system, more like a stamp on my thing. This is what my life is. And I kept attracting things on that frequency until and that's what I'm saying. Why am I reading this responsibility to you? Because I thought life will get better. I did everything from the prison of my mind, healing, therapies, uh, personal development, but nothing changed until I changed that self-image, until I changed. Actually, I'm not a victim of a life. No, I'm not a victim. No. Yes, this has happened to me in my past and it's made me who I've become, but it happened for my highest good. When I changed that perception, remember one of the mental faculties, when I really changed it, I changed the ideas about myself, I changed the wiring in my subconscious mind. That's when my life changed, not before that. And Then he says, where there is an absence of responsibility, there is an absence of self-respect. Yes, that is so true. Are you taking responsibility of yourself? No. Do you honor yourself? And if you do not honor yourself, you're expecting others to respect you. You're expecting others to honor you, but are you honoring yourself? Like, I'm so mindful of this body, of this mind, of this soul. I give myself plenty of rest. I give myself the right food. I exercise. I will make sure my mind is nourished with all the right stuff. My thoughts, my feeling, and my actions are all aligned. I have the right attitude. I'm not reacting to life. I'm going to respond to life. All of that is my responsibility, because no one can make me think what I do not want to think, and no one can make me feel what I do not want to feel. So to be free, you must accept responsibility for your life, for your feelings, and for every result you get. And I remember when I read this, and when actually I didn't even read this, Bob actually told me on one of the calls, because I went and explained him everything. And he said, no, repeat after me. And he gave me this affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am responsible for my thoughts, my feelings, and my results in life. And he said, I want you to embody this. And I embodied that. And today, there is nothing from the outside. I, I, I. I take responsibility of my life. And I want you all to take responsibility of your life, because you must. That's the thing. You must take responsibility of your life. Responsibility is the price of greatness. You are responsible for the amount of money you earn. You're responsible for how you spend your days, and you're responsible for creating a stimulating social life. Negative circumstances are learning experiences we have attracted. I just explained that about my life, right? Negative circumstances are learning experiences we have attracted. So I attracted those. What has happened has happened. You cannot change it. I can't go back in life and change anything. You can't go back in life and change anything. What can you do? Forgive means to let go of completely, abandon. Why? Because if you keep going back there, you keep going back there, that's exactly what you'll keep creating. And Dr. Joe Dispenza explains this. He says this, you can't keep going back. You will keep recreating the past. Do you want your past? No, you want your future. You are the only person in the world who can decree your future with any degree of certainty. Only you, no one else, the person you look in the mirror every day. That's how I am going to end this. I do not want to, but I'll have to. I've got this, I don't know. Yeah, this is what I want to say to you all. So if you've not booked a call, and I know so many of you have, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all on the calls and welcoming you in our community as well. I am so looking forward to seeing those next 6-7 months with you all, how amazing this journey is going to be. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on my last day with you all on bonus, which is identity. Absolutely my favorite. Make sure you're there live. Make sure you bring a pen and paper, because I'll make you do some work. Okay. Uh, I have absolutely enjoyed. And can I ask you for a favor? Can I ask you all to leave maybe a comment in the WhatsApp, or maybe in the chat here? In WhatsApp would be better, or Facebook. How has this helped you over the last 6 days? I would love to see that. If you can share a video, perfect. If you can, only if you want us to put on website a video, otherwise do not. But if you would do want to leave a comment or something, a message, a short message, it will just inspire other people. And I would love your feedback. I would absolutely be very grateful. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so grateful. I know it's an hour of your time every day, which is a lot. And I really, really appreciate and admire that. I'm very, very grateful to you all. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Love you all loads, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. I really mean it. Thank you.